What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick, and it is a glorious Friday. I hope you all are doing fantastic. Hope you all are working in your wholesaling business. I know I have been today, and today's show is all about how to overcome every single objection you're going to encounter. So before we get started, I am here to tell you that most objections boil down to just 5 or 6 categories. Like, that's it. So if you want to get more details on how to overcome objections in greater detail past the show, you got a lot of questions, you guys know what to do. Go to freewholesaling.com. It is the only free wholesaling course out there. It is the most thorough, the most downloaded course in America today. And here's the really cool part. I want you guys to succeed. I want you to have the same success I've had, my son Zach's had, and I want you to have it. And me and Zach are probably the only crazy people out there that want to do it for free. This industry, real estate investing, has been so stuck in the early 2000s where you got to pay someone $5,000 or $10,000 to learn this business. You know what, guys? There's too much information out there. You guys are smart. You're utilizing this stream right here and you're learning information. You're not depending on your local school systems. You're not depending on colleges. You are looking for people that have created the path, and I'm here to give it to you. I went back and did wholesaling over 19 years ago, and it's completely changed my life. And I've sold courses over the past, and it's just the same old tired kicking thing. And so why not do it for free? So we are going to talk about overcoming objections. I'm going to go through it. We're going to take about probably 20, 25 minutes, and you can take some notes on here. Don't worry, it's recorded if you want to come back and watch it. If you need more information, guys, do me a favor, go to freewholesaling.com. But listen, before we get started, please do me a favor and smash that like button. I'm doing this all for free for you. Show me some love so more people can see this stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will get started here. But guys, listen, before we get started, man, it is Friday. What is it? It's already Friday evening. Some of you call it happy hour. I don't care what you call it. You got to get up for this, man. So if you don't get super excited, or if you're just starting out your wholesaling journey, you're thinking like, what the heck is he talking about? Listen, you are the special. You are the chosen. You are the few who have decided to change the life for you, your family, create more time for your loved ones, and create a financial future that you are in complete control of, and you are responsible for it. But I don't want you to go about it when you go to like your regular 9-to-5 job. Hey, I'm going to try this. Dude, you got to get crazy. You got to get like insanely excited. You have to get pumped up. You have to really get into it. You guys know what I'm about to do. Let's jump into it.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, get the guy, go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Guys, that's the level you need for this business. So honestly, so many people are walking around like, I'm just going to get through today. Change your attitude, change your life. I'm telling you, you're in the right place. You want to learn how to wholesaling. And here's the best part is you don't want a guru in your back pocket. You want someone to show you that's done this 19 years plus. And Zachary, who earned $100,000 all while in high school, you're in the right place. So let's talk about overcoming objections. So actually, this is probably probably my single most expertise I can tell you, because in the beginning, when you start out, let me pull everything up here for you. Everyone gets so flustered by like, Rick, I don't like, they tell me things and I don't know what to say. So I'm here to tell you here. I'll show you right now when we get into this. Let me pull it up here. Freewholesaling.com. I go into grave detail on how to overcome any objections when it comes to wholesaling, specifically in real estate investing. And the key is to have a conversation and prepare yourself. If you know objections coming, you know how to answer it, your confidence level goes through the roof. Now, part of it, you do have to experience it. People will rattle you. But if you know the topic and you know the objections that come out to you and you can prepare yourself, you can overcome anyone's. Here's the secret to overcoming objections. And you guys already know the answer. I'm just going to remind you. You have to practice. You have to practice. Do not practice on your live customers. You will make plenty of mistakes. Don't worry about it. But you've got to understand the content of overcoming your objections. So that is the key. You can look at objections all day long. You can study them. But in the end, sit down with a loved one, a family member, a partner, a sister, a brother. I don't care who it is, a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, anyone other than your dog or your cat, and just practice with objections and have them throw the kitchen sink at you and watch how you respond. And there's something different that happens when someone grills you and it like puts you under a little bit of pressure. And once you know the content, you know how to deal with the pressure, magical things happen when overcoming objections. So basically what I'm going to do is roll through what I call like the top 10 things. And they're not in order of importance. We're going to roll through them. And I'm going to tell you how I would deal with it if I was in your shoes. And you guys can put comments in there. When we're done with this, I'll take your questions. We'll do a mastermind, and I want to help out as many people as possible. So go ahead and put in your questions. It can relate to overcoming objections, or it can just relate to wholesaling in general, real estate investing. I don't care, whatever you guys want to talk about. Dude, it's Friday, man. It's fun. So let's talk about the first one. One of my favorites is, hey, Rick, do you have a proof of funds? Now, understanding a proof of funds is just a defense mechanism. 9 times out of 10, when somebody brings up the proof of funds argument, it is somebody taught it to them. Most sellers don't know about this naturally, even on retail deals. Their realtors know about it when they do that. So how do you overcome a proof of funds? Number one, do not lie to people. You are going to waste your time and you're going to look like it's going to put you in a bad light. So do not make it up. Do not try to do a Photoshop, any of that stuff. It's really simple. You're in wholesaling. So if you're going out seeking cash buyers, all you need to do is get their proof of funds letter to present it. Who cares what the corporation is? You can pass it off as your partner, a contractor you work with, whatever it is. So if you have really good cash buyers, they're more than happy to provide you so they can get great deals. It does take a little bit of relationship working on. That's fine. Number two, you can just set up a cash partner. A cash partner is someone who has the ability to help you fund your deals. And usually they get a percentage of the equity, like whatever agreement you do. Now, you can do hard money. I will tell you, hard money gets a little bit shaky on these grounds because it's not really cash. I'll argue this till I turn blue. It is a loan you're getting from a stranger. And the other one is soft money. This is money from family, friends, or people you have relationships with to help do your proof of funds. Guys, don't go up and make up stuff. It doesn't help your situation. It actually puts you in a worse one. So proof of funds, all you have to do, get past it. How do you get past it? Use your cash buyer's proof of funds, use your cash partner, transactional funding, like whatever it is, and concentrate on helping them get their house sold. You should never spend more than 30 seconds on a proof of funds. It's a yes or a no when you do it. So that's proof of funds. Next one, questioning. God knows I'm an expert on this one. So I had to teach Zach when he was 17 how to overcome it. And I knew it was going to be a bit of an issue. It was his age. And here's what I did, okay? So if you're young and you're watching this show, or you're old, I don't care what you are. I didn't start till I was 33, so it doesn't really matter. You can start at 75. You can start at 85. I don't care. When people question who you are, where you come from, your age, any of that, it doesn't, I don't know why people come up with it. Age is obvious because they're worried about your experience level. I will tell you this, your confidence will overcome any age barrier you have. And that's what I instilled into Zach. And that was one of the big motivating factors that's made him the success he is today. He didn't let age stop him. He actually used it as a positive. So let me give you an example. Although I don't have 30 years experience buying a house, the few houses I bought, I'm so energetic. I'm so focused in on helping you. And I want to bend over backwards to make sure this deal works for you. Mr. Seller, what can I do for you to help you? And just kill them with politeness and just be super kind. People just love that stuff. If they go, well, you're young. Yeah, young. I'm telling you right now, if you are young, it is an asset. You're going to be on this earth longer than I am, and you have more time to have an impact on this earth. So you get a head start. So get enthusiastic when people call your age out. And I'm telling you, magical things happen because people are like, oh my God, this guy is just crazy enough. I might sell him my house. So if you're young and age is an issue, it is an asset. If you view it as an asset and you convert it to confidence, not cockiness, it will help you phenomenally, helping you sell people. You're more energetic, you're more in tune, you're probably a better hustler. And a lot of people, I guess, say my age, sometimes we take stuff for granted, and you can have a young guy come and take a young gal and take a deal from you because they spent more time, they asked better questions, they were more attuned into it. And sometimes it makes a huge difference. So no matter what you get called question on, understand it has no impact on the deal. It is a personal obstacle and you have to get past it. Do not brush it off, address it. So if your age, tackle it head on. Hey, you're not from this. Like, so say I lived in New York and I moved to Texas, and maybe I have an accent. I helped somebody out who had a severe accent. You know what? All we did was focus on their confidence. So do you think your accent helps you or hurts you? I think it hurts me. Why? And we kind of go through it. I'm like, listen, it's the heritage. It's how you were raised. Be proud of it. Wear it. Wear it as a badge of honor. You just work on your speech. And what we taught is we taught him and her to slow down their speech so people could understand it. So, so no matter how you're questioned, you have to confront it up front and then turn it into an asset. That's the easiest way. So moving on, number 8. Oh my God. If you guys haven't heard this by now, you are not spending enough time wholesaling. It's Rick, I got to speak with my lawyer. So here's what you do. This is an extremely common reaction we get from people. So I almost hear this on a daily basis. All my salespeople hear it 20, 30 times a day. That's how prominent it is. So when I got to speak to a lawyer, it is nothing more than a defense mechanism. And what they're telling you is, I'm scared. I'm going to get someone to protect me. So hey, I'm going to speak to a lawyer is a very general statement. And they're trying to tell you, like, I got people watching out for me, Rick. Don't you come at me and like give me some bad stuff. So here's what you have to do instead of say, yeah, it's fine. Speak with your lawyer. Mr. Seller, what specifically do you need to speak to your seller? Is there anything that's making you uncomfortable about me buying your property? And so I call it isolation. So the key is here is you isolate. Them speaking to a lawyer, 9 times out of 10, they have another problem. They just don't want to tell you it. So it's just a general answer. That's like, I'll get back with you later. No. Hey, Rick, I want to speak to my lawyer. Hey, Mr. Seller, what specifically is making you uncomfortable that you want to address with your lawyer? Maybe I can help you overcome it. And you just try to pull it out of them because they're just going to stall you if you keep doing this. So they need more information to make a decision if they want to do business with you. And while you have them in there, especially if you're belly to belly with them, get that answer. End of story. The speak with lawyer is the biggest cover up BS answer you're going to get from motivated sellers. And you need to help them out because the reality is, if they just go to speak to a lawyer and they hand him a contract, he is going to probably rip it apart. So you are best if you get a signed contract and then they want to give it to a lawyer. I'm perfectly fine with it. Or Once you overcome all their objections, then they want to give it to a lawyer for a once over. I'm fine with that too. But the initial response, let me speak to a lawyer. The issue is most likely with you, and you haven't satisfied all their answers. And the easiest thing to do is blow you off to a lawyer. So isolate the question. What specifically are you uncomfortable with that I can help address right now? And you'll actually help them walk through the sales process and don't do it. So here's the one that absolutely shoots me in the foot. I don't know. Rick, I don't know. So most of the time when you get this type of response, you usually talking too much and you overrun them with information. So this is kind of like the point where they just say overload. This is the engine, the little meter on your engine dashboard. It says, I'm overheating. You're overwhelming me. I just don't know what to do. So understand most of your motivated sellers, they're in a position because they're overwhelmed to begin with. Your job is to unwind make it super simple. Remember, the goal is to get their house sold to solve a problem for them. So if you focus on solving the problem instead of like creating a problem for them, it is a huge decision for them, and you got to help them get through it. So when they say, I don't know, this means I need help. I need help, Rick. I need help. So give them help. So when they say, I don't know, you've got to unwind it and find out more probing questions. Hey, Gene, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what specifically can I help answer you that's making you a little bit uncomfortable? When they say, I don't know, they're very uncomfortable with you and they're typically overwhelmed. So I'm going to go back to isolate and ask the problem again. So you got to narrow it down and find an objection. They're being polite to you. They're feeling overwhelmed. And maybe go, you know what? Selling a house is a huge decision. I get it. I just want to let you know, I'm here to help you out. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. And I want to do it on your time frame. And it's just talking to them and not talking over them. And remember, doing the 80-20 rule will 9 times out of 10 help you avoid this objection. But when you have it, it's a warning sign and you have to fix it. So moving on, number 6, my favorite. What's your offer, Rick? What's your offer? Quick, give me your offer. Give me your offer. Give me your offer. Now, keep in mind, most of these is they're going to give you this objection when you first meet with them. What they want to do is, I don't want to hear your story. Give me a piece of paper. Give me the offer and get the heck out of my face. Honestly, if you play ball like that, you will never get a deal in wholesaling. It's just the truth. So when someone's attacking you, what's your offer, and you're just going into sometimes you get it when they're qualifying, when you're first talking to them, or sometimes you get it when you go on the appointment. You deal with them both the same way. Hey, Mr. Seller, hold on one second. I'm just asking you, I just trying to find out a little bit of information about your house. Listen, I want to put an offer that works for you, and it's got to work for me. But understand, I've got to get some information for you. So, like, think about it. How would you buy a car you couldn't test drive? And they go, absolutely not. Well, I need to find out some information about your house instead of just giving you some offer that honestly, I don't even know if it has wings and if it's going to work. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions so we can see if this is a good fit for you? What you're basically saying is, please be quiet, hear me out, and I'll answer most of your questions once I get all the information from you, and then we'll get to a negotiation point. Does that sound fair? If you spit out that offer, you might as well just hang up the phone because you're not doing yourself a service. If it was simple as putting in a number, we would do everything on the computer and we never talk to people. So what's your offer? It's an aggressive move, and people saying, I don't want to deal with you. I'm not going to let you get inside me, and I'm going to be a tough guy, or I'm a tough chick and I don't work that way. If you cannot connect with them, build rapport, you won't get a deal. So if you're going to spend on an offer, you might as well go retail when you do it. Wholesaling is you have to get in and understand what people need. So now, guys, gals, if you haven't heard this one, I got to speak with a spouse. Now, I've been married 25 years. Full disclosure, I do get in trouble when I make decisions for the family without running it by my wife. So all the wives out there, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Husbands do some stupid stuff. But going forward in wholesaling is the biggest problem why you guys get this objection is because you did not set up the appointment correctly. So your job when you're qualifying people is really to find out who wears the pants in the family. That's just the truth. Don't get offended. It is the truth. Some relationships, the husband makes all the decisions and he doesn't want the wife involved. And sometimes it's the wife that makes all the decisions. He can't make any decisions because he screws it up. Now, there's a lot of them that are 50-50, 49-51, whatever you want. So if you do a presentation without the other spouse there, you are going to screw it up. You are going to have to do two separate presentations. And the one presentation you did to the husband, he's going to give the wife the Cliff Note version of it, and he's probably not going to like it. So the best way to overcome this is to make sure you're talking to the parties responsible, because you do have to respect the spouse. And if you don't, these people have a long relationship. And I don't think in a couple of weeks, you're going to be able to overcome like a 25-year relationship. You're not. So include them, respect it. And if you miss the spouse, go, you know what, you're right. We need to involve them. And if you have to do a Zoom call, a conference call, or like in person, then do it. Every now and then we got to do them separately. So if you have to do them separately, which is a pain in the butt, do me a favor. When you get to the second one and you've come to some agreement, get the other spouse on speakerphone if you have to, if they're not in person, and try to get an agreement going, doing it that way. But guys, overlooking the spouse, you got to prevent it up front and make sure you're talking to the right people. So, guys, put your questions in. We're just about wrapping this up, and we're going to do a Q&A mastermind, which is my favorite part. So here's my favorite. Mr. Rick Zillow says, well, guys, I want you to understand Zillow is there. Every homeowner knows what their Zillow value is. So don't hide from it. Embrace it. So the common theme to all these objections, if you try to beat around the bush and stuff, you're just going to confuse them. So hit them up front with Zillow. Yeah. Zillow is basically a brokerage service that mostly works the realtor side, which helps people list their house. There's a reason they call it a Zestimate, better known as an estimate. It's just an estimate. They're guessing. The reality is they want you, if you fix your house up, and remember, we're targeting lists where people have issues with houses, water shutoff, fire damage, code violations, tax delinquencies. If you have a list where they're going to be targeted on it, most likely these houses are not going to be pristine. So I agree. You could probably get this estimate if you fix the house up, you list it the full 6%. By the time you do the closing fees and everything, you're looking at about a 10 to 12% discount after you show the house and let everybody in. And even in a good market, it still is taxing. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and list it. But you told me you want to get it sold really in the next like 4 to 5 weeks. So let's talk about how we can help you out doing it. So if you try to overcome Zillow by beating around the bush and not do it, also, if you want to take advantage of, Zillow got out of the house buying business because they screwed it up. They overpaid for everything. The people that sold their house to Zillow made out like bandits. So there's a reason they're not in the home buying business, and you got to take advantage. Zillow is really designed to create realtor leads and get people excited about selling their house. Very rarely is there a direct correlation with wholesaling and Zillow other than they. So if they see a value of 189,000 and you know the thing's only worth like 100, just deal with it. So when you walk around the house and look at it, if it's not in great shape, it's kind of really easy. And I always say, Mr. Seller, do you want to list your house? Is that the goal here? Or you just want to get it sold? And you got to kind of pull the truth out. If the house is perfect and they want retail, I am not going to sit there and force them to try to do a wholesale deal with me. But most likely when we talk about Zillow, like they go, yeah, I know if the house is perfect, I can do that. I can't do that. Go, okay, well, that's great. Thank God Zillow got out of the home buying business. They were terrible at it, weren't they? And that's where I kind of go with that. So let's move on and get this so we can get to questions, my favorite part. So the price is too low. I want too much. My realtor says. So it's kind of like a three-pronged approach. So the moral of number 3 here on your objections is, Mr. Seller, I told you up front, I'm probably not going to be your highest offer, but I will tell you this, I'm going to be your best offer. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to deal with all the issues we talked about it. I'm going to close on your timetable. and I'm going to respect the decisions I told you, what we're going to do. So whatever your agreement is, you need to do that. The idea is, the reality in real estate is the more people get for the houses, the more stuff they got to put up with. If you're targeting the right list, you're looking for someone who needs to sell their house, not wants to, needs to. The people that want to sell their house, if you're going to put them in your follow-up list, it's just a lot of follow-up. They have to switch to want to need. So if you guys get one thing from this video, other than practicing your overcoming your objections, is you have to translate a want to a need to do a really good wholesale deal. So the other one is, my realtor says, and to me, it's kind of the easiest one, is my realtor says, is your realtor going to buy the house? No, but she says she can sell it for $280,000. Okay. Well, give them 30 days. And if it doesn't sell for 280, end it. Most realtors do not like that one because they typically overprice the listings, but you just have to overcome it and just let them know that I'm going to be your best solution. So if once again, you're targeting the right list, you're talking to motivated sellers. I'm not talking about beating up people who want retail for a house. That's not what we do. And I want you guys to understand the difference on that. So let's get on to the last two here, and we'll do the questions, guys. Put your questions in the comments, and I will answer them in the order they come in. I want more offers. There's other wholesalers coming up. I want to bid it up. And I just said, listen, once again, this is very similar to the other one. Do you want the best offer that's going to help your family and get your problem solved? Or do you want to get in a bidding war? And a bidding war is going to require inspections. It's going to require time. And, there's going to be contingencies. And when we talked initially with the seller, you told me you just want to get the house sold. You want a fair price. And I agree, you deserve a fair price. But if we're starting talking about like bidding and stuff, I'll go up higher in the number, but I'm going to bring in an entire team to inspect the house and do everything. And so you have to go back and reaffirm why they're selling you the house. Remember, guys, you are not here to compete with realtors listing properties. You don't want those clients. You might put them on your follow-up to get them, but the reality is you're looking for people that need to sell their house. The ones that want to, let them duke it out with the realtors. It's just a waste of energy when you do it. So our last one, which is my favorite, I said they weren't in order, but it's just no. Rick, no, I don't want to do it. So here's where you have to make a critical decision when it comes to wholesaling. Are you saying no to me? I'm never selling the house. Or are you just saying no today? You have to make that determination. Okay. Every now and then people say no because they're having a bad day, a bad week, whatever it is. If they're still open to sell the house, I'm going to put it in some sort of follow-up. But if it's an absolutely no, I never want to sell the house, I don't like you like that, you have to decide if they're really worth following up. And by the way, no is actually a good answer. I just want you to understand what they're saying no to. So I like when people say no because they make a decision, and I can make a decision what I want to do with time. So when you have no, make sure it's real, make sure it's going to stick. And if the house isn't motivated, meaning the house isn't run down, it's not in bad shape, and they're giving you hard no's, I'm probably going to pull that person out of my database. You have to make a decision what they're saying. Are they saying no to you, or are they saying no to sell the house? I had a lot of people say no to me. The house is completely run down. The tenant trashed it. And then I can bring in one of my female associates, and they instantly talk to them. So they were saying no to me. I'm not going to throw the lead away. Guys, we spend money and time and energy on these leads. Don't throw them away. But no is a definitive answers. If we could just get yes or no's, our jobs would be super easy. We wouldn't have to overcome all these objections. So if you guys agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Give me some love here. Let's get into the questions. And let me clear the screen here. You guys know how to go to freewholesaling.com. If you guys are looking to put lists together that will help you find these types of motivated sellers, go to listrei.com. Is the best way. You get a 7-day free trial period. And everybody who signs up under that link is me and Zach provide you tons of training on how to use it. I love it because you get 10,000 leads. We work 10,000 plus every month, and it keeps our pipeline completely full. You guys got to target the right list. Remember, you're looking for people that need to sell their house. The ones that want to, a lot of times we put them up in a follow-up, but they do take time and energy. I let them fight it out with like realtors and stuff in the beginning, and then I switch over. So this part of the program is where we get in the Q&A. So if you got a question, put it in there. There is no dumb question, only the question you don't ask. I'm here to help out as many people as possible. And I want you understanding, I'm going to give you the truth because I'm not in your back pocket. I'm not taking any of your money. So you get nothing but the truth here. I think that's why people really love coming here. So yesterday I did a live with Zach. We have a lot of fun with that. He does a couple lives during the week, and I always do Fridays. So if you guys want to tune in and get the dad, I'm here on Fridays. I love this business. I've been doing it 19 years, and I left the corporate world. I tried a traditional job in college, and I hated every minute of it. And I did that for 11 years, and I made a massive change. So that's where you guys come. That's how I got into this business. So I think you guys have heard the story before. So let's see here. Barbara says happy hour. What's up, Barbara? I love Barbara. She's here like almost like every day. So she knows how to take advantage of free resources. The thing is, most free resources, like they're leading you into a funnel. Like, okay, free this, and then I'm gonna hit you for $10,000. I'm gonna get you hooked. Guys, me and Zach aren't doing that. We do this to create a legacy, and I think this business needs to change. I've been buying courses since 2002, 3. This stuff needs to change. It's ridiculous. Everything is so available to you. You do not have to pay someone 5 or 10 grand to learn how to do wholesaling. I believe everybody should learn their wholesaling. It's just like their ABCs, and there's no different. And then once you make your first $100,000, you make a decision who you want to work with, who you want to pay. So let's see here. Okay, let's get into the questions. You guys are still talking about the video, so that's awesome. So Jerry says it's 60 degrees in Ohio. I assume that's a heat wave. That's a hot one. It's really nice in Florida today. Aaron asks, do you wholesale houses more than creative financing? Absolutely. I do love creative financing. Creative financing comes from my wholesale lead generation. And when a wholesale won't work and a creative financing fits in perfectly, I do it. If you guys will learn the wholesale first, and then you can pull creative deals out of it. But the problem right now is, being the market the way it is, creative financing, I think most people are overpaying for their creative financing. I think there's going to be a day of reckoning on what people are paying for creative financing. So creative financing, the fundamental principle is on cash flow. So let me give you a little theory. If you can give a seller $5,000 to take over their deed, remember, it's not your $5,000, it's your buyer's $5,000, and you can get a new buyer in there to fund you $15,000 for the opportunity to move in that house with a subject to financing, that gives you a positive cash flow of $10,000. Now, if you give the seller $25,000 because somebody taught you like that's a good idea to do it, and you only get $15,000, that means you're in negative $10,000. And I don't know if you're going to get your money in the end. It's just the truth, guys. Nobody ever wants to talk about the day of reckoning on creative financing. I got stuck in 06. I did a bunch of deals in 06. Unfortunately, I took a guru's advice, and I had 9 subject twos, and boy, did that market change. The rents dropped so low. I was in a negative cash flow situation, and I had to resolve them and walk away. And I lost a lot of money. And I learned that because creative financing is easy today, you still have to focus on the end prize. So here's my recommendation: do creative financing. Make sure you're always in a positive cash flow from day one. Okay. And if you got a lot of money, you want to throw it around. I don't want to see people like lose money, but I'm hearing people putting out $20,000 and $30,000 deposits that are beginners. It's a recipe for a nightmare, in my opinion. So I like wholesaling because it creates cash today. The market's hot. Why not take the cash today? And when these properties are cheaper, then you can buy them back and do it all over again. And then you can do creative financing. Creative financing works really well when the market's soft. It is phenomenal what you can do. I bought a $2 million house on less than a $10,000 deposit on creative financing in 2010. And it was on the water at like an amazing deal. And I'm just telling you, today, like I do them when the opportunity is right. The best creative financing you can do right now are probate deals, because when a deceased person passes away and the mortgage is in their name, there's no risk to the family for you taking over that loan. And those are my favorite deals to do right now in creative financing. But honestly, if somebody owns a house free and clear and the market's like really good, how good of a deal are you really going to get? Like, they don't need to sell it to you. So they're typically going to overcharge you. You have to overcharge the next person. And if the market corrects, you're the one that's going to be caught whole in the bag. So I love creative financing. What's up, R1CA? How you doing? Love to hear where you're from. And okay, so I'm going to give us a follow-up question. It says, I'm trying to close on a multifamily deal, and this really nice older lady thinks the property is going to me. I have a buyer ready, so not sure what to say at closing. So you're gonna, if you haven't prefaced it, so you need to go in and start working it now. So I assume you have a cash buyer, and I'd simply say, listen, I have a partner that we work together on buying the property, and I'm going to go ahead and put his. We work together all the time because sometimes he takes over this deal, so I take over that deal, and his name's John. So make sure he's your buyer, for God's sakes. And then one of the ways is you can bring him through the property and kind of introduce her and get that out of the way. Do not wait till the closing to try to do it. Because guys, when you do closings, the best way to do it is try not to be at the closing other than for your seller. Because if you resolve everything before the closing, there's no risk to you at the closing of anything blowing up. So I would go ahead and preface it and just let them know your partner you work with. We're going to close it in, 123 LLC, and everything's good. We got the money. We moved it over in that account. Are we still, and then focus on the closing date. That's what I would do. So if you guys are not buying the properties and you're signing it, which is really the best way to do wholesaling, you just want to preface like, listen, a lot of times I work with cash partners. Sometimes we close in different LLC, and it is the truth. And most people, listen, in the end of the day, they don't care if Mickey Mouse buys your house. It's when they're surprised and they're confused at a closing, that's when you're going to have a problem. So what's up, Dottie? How you doing? Let's see. 29 degrees in Minnesota. Dude, let me tell you what, I would melt. Okay. I actually, I enjoy cold weather to visit because it's so different in Florida, but man, I don't know how you guys get out of bed in the morning. How would you go to the gym in the morning when it's that cold? I'm freaking out when it's 55. The guys keep commenting on temperatures. I love to hear about them. So, I don't really watch much news. I just try to watch the weather forecast in Florida. So, I have ample time to go fishing. So, okay, let's keep the questions going. What's up, Raquel? Those are cute children in the picture. I love it. I love when people put their whole profile picture up there because I get like a sense and a feeling of it. So, but anyways, the question is, when you tell them that when you'll buy it as is, do not do an inspection, and do you always tell them you buy it as is? So we do buy the houses as is. That's really the appeal to working with someone like us. Remember, we're nothing more than regular Joe cash buyers. Do not use the word wholesalers because it's very confusing to sellers. And a lot of times realtors and the industry gives wholesaling a bad name. So you want to kind of disassociate so they understand like you're a real person, Raquel. Number two, we buy as is. That's right. So if say the house is you got to discount it because of the repairs, they don't want you to come back and inspect it and do another discount. Like nobody wants that. The reality is if everybody listed a house and they were truthful and like what they wanted to pay for it, but what most real estate does is they'll put it under contract for this price, and they come back with an inspection, and then they'll ask for $10,000-$20,000 in concessions because this is wrong and that's wrong. We don't really want to do that. But keep in mind, Raquel, we're buying at deep enough discounts, we can overcome most of the stuff. The only time I do an inspection is if I have to play the game with a seller, meaning they're stuck on like selling me a house for $150,000. Like, Rick, I can't go below $150,000. I know I can't pay more than $135, maybe $140 for it because I'm just the profit just goes away. I look over, I see the AC shot. I've already priced it in there. I'm looking at the roof It's completely worn. It doesn't look like it's been replaced for like 17 years, according to the tax records. And the seller goes like this, no, that roof was recently replaced and that AC is in perfect condition. Instead of losing the deal, I'll write it for 150. And here's what I tell them, Raquel, listen, at 150, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm concerned with your roof, the age of it. And number two, the AC looks like it's 20 years old and it sounds a little rough. If I do an inspection, those are good, I'll give you the 150. I'm telling you right now, if they come back and they're a problem, like 135 might be off the table. And I try to leverage it because you can't lie about a roof. You have to have a permit to make it happen. Old roofs are a killer in our business and we have to account for it in pricing. So if it's tight and you're worried about it, then you leave some room in there. If someone's pushing you and you're not sure, sometimes I'll go out and see if I can get a buyer for it. I'll put it under contract. And if the numbers don't work, I just come back. A lot of times in the beginning, I used to do the inspections. I'd have a contractor friend. There's no point in paying a regular home inspector because they're looking for the stuff you're not looking for. We're looking for structural stuff. I don't care about cosmetic. I know how to price it out. So if you have to give you room, you can put in an inspection. But understand when you're writing an inspection, you're at the limit and you're hoping they come back and give you a discount. It's a technique. It works. But I'm not looking to I tell them up front, I think your roof's bad, but you're telling me the roof's, if that roof's new, I'll pay you for that. If not, it's 135. The roof's 15 grand. And that's how we do it. So Raquel, kind of use that technique when you do it. Now, when I get really, really good deals, and I get really good deals all the time, we got a lot working on now. It's just as is, no inspection. When you got 50, 70, 80, 100 grand a deal, don't be greedy. Seriously. Now, I will put an inspection in there if I think there's a foundation issue, like an environmental issue, like crazy stuff, then yes, put an inspection in. But if somebody goes, listen, Rick, I just want to get rid of the house. Please help me out. I had a bad tenant. I want to move on. I'm in New York. I can't deal with it anymore. Write the contract, 0 inspection to move on. If you know the profit's in there. When it's tight, that's when we do inspections. So hopefully that helps you out. So awesome family, Raquel. Keep it up. Here's a good one. So Telia goes, what if they've been burned by another wholesaler? But by the way, happens all the time. So all you have to do is reassure them about you. You can't speak. And by the way, trash talking other wholesalers, it doesn't look good. I tried it when I was younger. It doesn't work. So all you can do is focus on how you can help them and things you're going to do to prevent that problem from coming up again. So if they say, Tila, the last wholesaler that came by here, they put it under contract and then I didn't see him for 2 months and I never heard back from him. This is your opportunity, Tila, to go, how much did you put it under contract for? And now you have some data. So say they put the contract under contract for $200,000. Tila goes, and hopefully you've done your research on the comping, and say the house is only worth like 150. There is a huge amount of wholesalers that do not educate themselves. They don't go to freewholesaling.com, that's for sure. And they go out and they're taught, put everything under contract and just put a couple grand on it. And you do 10 houses like that and you'll retire rich. Most likely when that happens, a wholesaler came in and overpriced it and never negotiated and just got a simple yes. And that's where your job is, to go to the seller, listen, that was never the real price. And then you have to kind of go through the comps with them and explain it. I don't want to do that to you. I want to get this done right. So let's find the price that works to get this house sold by this date. 9 times out of 10, Tila, when a wholesaler puts it under contract and they never hear from it again, they offered too much on the property. That is your opportunity to go, sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And that's what happens almost not every time in that scenario. Think about it. If somebody puts it under contract and it's a really good deal and they get another, they're going to solve the problem. The reality is they probably paid too much for it and they just went and got a simple yes, and they're trying to contract like 20 houses. So, but you have to be careful to make sure that you're not interfering with somebody else's contract. So you got to ask them, can you show me a copy of the contract? Is there an expiration, anything like that? And work with a title company or lawyer if you have to do it. But honestly, Tila, that's your time to shine, man, because if you do this business right and you're honest and ethical, you can actually help people out. So I am sorry you've been hurt. I want to fix it. I want to help you out as much as I can. But you have to interject the truth to them. The reality is they offered you too much. It sounded too good to be true and you took it, and that's probably the reality. So let's work on how we can unwind this problem and help you out. So I appreciate the question. That's awesome. KK says, excellent point. KKE Properties. I love these names. Let's go with Jerry here. Jerry says, what if the spouse is not available and you can off the phone without that person and then they ghost you? What if the spouse is not available and then you can off the phone without, I'm missing some of the words there, with that person and then they ghost you? Well, listen, in this business, you're going to have people that ghost you. So don't act like it's never going to happen. It happens all the time. A lot of our sellers, they need to sell the house. They've procrastinated to the last minute. Here's a little tip. Ready for this? Somebody tell me in the comments. I've been doing this way too long, as you can tell. How many of your motivated sellers, when you call them back, their voicemail is full, or this person cannot accept any more voicemails because the voicemail box is full? Right now, put in the comments. Let me know if this happens. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important when it happens. I used to go insane on this one. I'm like, do you know how simple it is to delete your voicemails? You just click a button and it's done. And I just never understanding when they're doing that. They're telling you they're completely overwhelmed in their life. They procrastinate everything. Everything's a last minute decision. And me selling this house is going to solve the 200 other problems I have. And you need to bear with it because I can't even leave them a voicemail. And the reason for putting up, I'm looking here. I'm going to lose my spot on here. When you guys hear the voicemails full, get excited because that's a person that needs to sell their house. If they can't take 10 seconds to delete their voicemails, they probably got a lot of issues going in life. And I want to help them and solve it out. But it just drives me nuts when people's voicemail boxes are full. It's so easy to delete. 9 times out of 10, they're avoiding talking to people because they have bill collectors. They have a lot of stuff going on in their life and they just don't want to deal with people. You got to find a way to get in front of them. So, okay, we went through that. So Jerry, we talked about this one earlier. What's your offer? That's when you got to say, listen, hold on. You got to back off. If that's the initial response with him, you have to get past it or you will never get a deal. So, hey, Mr. Seller, I've never even seen your house, but I want you to understand, if I was going to buy a car from you, you would expect me to test drive it, correct? You know I'm serious. You go, absolutely. So let me at least get through and ask you some questions about the house. And if it's a good fit, I want to come out and take a look at the house and see if it's a good fit. That way I can give you the best price possible. But I can't give you a fair offer if I don't have the information. Does that sound fair? And all you're asking is permission for you to be quiet for a moment, for me to ask you some qualifying questions to see if you fit in our program. And that's it. So, okay, let's see here. Hey, Rick, I'm a bit confused about double closings. What do you say when a cash buyer asks me if the owner of the property on a deal that I want to double close on, what contract to use? What do I say when a cash buyer asks me if I'm the owner of the property on a deal that I want to do a double closing on? What contract do I use? I'm trying to understand this. What do I say when a cash buyer, if I'm the owner of the property on a deal? So you're simply going to state that I have a contract on that property and I'm offering it to you via assignment of contract. So you are basically, just so you know, your legal definition when you put a property under contract, under a purchase and sales agreement, you have an equitable interest in the property. So Ghost Black Project, you are selling your equitable interest, which is a contract, and you want to use an assignment of contract. If you want to know how to use that, go over to freewholesaling.com. We actually provide you the actual contract and I ain't going to charge you 10 grand for it. And you need to hit that like button for me providing that with you. But if you go over to Free Wholesaling, that's all over there for you. So you're going to sell it via assignment. And You have an equitable interest in the property, which means you control the property and you have a contractual obligation that you're interested in selling to them. So awesome. Great question, though. Sorry. Sometimes, like, the lives are a little bit easier to understand, but it takes a little bit longer because it's a little more elaborate. So, okay. What's up, Peace? Got the probate list sent from the county. Awesome. Could you elaborate on petitioners as opposed to PRs in a probate? Yeah, real simple. So a petitioner, so every state's a little bit different. So I'm going to give you guys some crash course on terminology for probates because I'm really good at these things. So the PR is just an acronym for personal representative. They're also referred to in some states as the executor. So PR executor is the same person. This is the person who is authorized and appointed by the court to fulfill the last will and testament of the deceased party. They are the responsible party that the deceased person trusts the most in the event they were to pass away to basically wrap up all their financial affairs. That's it. The petitioner is the person that files to the court to, I'm sorry about that, to open up the probate. 9 times out of 10, the petitioner winds up being the PR or the executor. It makes sense. And most of the time, the petitioner has to hire a lawyer to execute, to get the probate open. So a petitioner is the person making the request. And a lot of times the petitioner, 9 times out of 10, what I've seen is the actual PR or the executor. So they're just, people use all these fancy words and they try to complicate it. That's all it is. So yes, what about if the seller asks if I'm a wholesaler? I stay away from, so when you're talking to homeowners and they need to sell their properties, the problem with wholesaling is, guys, I talk to you about wholesaling. We are a special group. Okay. So what I say to you now, when you go over to the other world and you go to a home seller, all they do is hear information reports off the news or something like that. Or maybe they had a bad experience with the wholesaler. You have to differentiate yourself from just a regular wholesaler. So what you want to do is rep yourself as, I'm a cash buyer that buys properties in this area. Do you have a property you're looking to sell? Do not sit there and fixate on wholesaling, because a lot of time if they do, they're going to equate you to the middleman and they just want to get rid of you. So no, I'm just a regular cash buyer. You have to represent yourself, because a wholesaler, by the way, is a cash buyer. Wholesaling is a term used, and although we speak amongst this forum and this stream about it, it will be used negatively with the seller. And a lot of times, even if you try to sell your point to the seller, when he goes and talks to like his lawyer or like their friend or realtor, I go, I got a wholesaler buying my house. Dude, red flag, get away from them. They're going to burn you. They're just a middleman. They make a ton of money and they put no money in it. You do not want to do a deal with them. And that's the problem you're going to have. So always rep yourself as, hey, listen, I'm Rick Ginn. I'm a regular guy and a cash buyer. I got 2 kids. I want to buy your house. It seems like a good project and I'd love the opportunity to buy it. And just focus on that. Get away from the wholesaling thing, because although we talk about it in this type of form, it does not work with homeowners at all. So what are the common pain points of a motivated seller? Well, so go to freewholesaling.com. I'll run you through like every one of them. But when somebody needs to sell the house, they've got issues. Real estate is just the symptom of their problem. It's not the actual problem. It's a symptom. So if you're struggling in your job and you lost your job and you go into foreclosure in your house, it's not because you don't want to pay your mortgage. It's you lost your job and you don't have income. So a loss of job would be a symptom. A death, a divorce, probate, taxes. When you're behind on your tax, you wind up on the tax delinquency list. Evictions, anything like that. Bad tenant. Oh my God, that's a pain point. I could go on for hours on pain points. Go to freewholesaling.com. I'll go into every detail you want to know. But basically, anybody who needs to sell a house, a person who needs to sell a house needs to find someone quickly that will help take care of it so they can get money to solve problems in their life. Money does solve problems in life. I don't care what status you're at. It does solve problems. The people who want to sell the house, give them a nice, pretty realtor and move. We don't like deal with them. I'll deal with them on a follow-up, but like, I don't waste my energy on them. Like, you just can't do it. So good question. So I got a Facebook video. What do you say about bandit signs and cold calling is the best way? Would you say bandit signs and cold calling is the best way to market and most on a budget? So here's the deal. When it comes to marketing, it is a personal preference. So number one, if you hate cold calling people and you get ticked off when people cold call you and you are adamant that it's just terrible and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because if you set yourself up for it, you're going to fail because you hate doing it. Now, if you're like my son, Zach, and you love talking to people and you're really good at cold calling, knock yourself out. It is very effective. It's fast and it's efficient, but it's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of work. It takes special people to do it. And I give people a lot of respect to do cold calling. I always tell you guys, do cold calling for 3 to 6 months yourself, and then you'll learn how to manage someone because you have to manage yourself first. You have to understand what's important. Bandit signs, dude, I love bandit signs. Bandit signs are completely illegal in all the towns I do business with because I've been so good at it over the last 19 years. I think I employ at least 8 people amongst the counties to prevent companies like me from putting out Let me tell you what, that phone rings and rings. I love bandit signs. The best way to do bandit signs, try to find the white corrugated 18 by 24 boards. Go to Home Depot, get the big fat black marker, and only have 3 lines, guys, on it. Your 3 lines is, don't say "we buy houses" because it's tired and it's weak. So come up with something a little bit creative. Have cash, buy, need a house, call and put your phone number. No more than 3 lines. You can Google the heck out of this. Make it simple. Just do not use "we buy houses." It's old, it's tired, and you look like a giant corporation. People don't want to do it with you. So have a top line, maybe a middle line, any condition, any situation, and then put your phone number in big print on the bottom and go to town on it. If you can get away with it, I'm telling you, guys, I did a long time ago. One of the ways I started Zach out is we stopped doing bandit signs, and he said he wanted to take it up. And I think he did at least a dozen houses right off bandit signs. And for full disclosure, I don't do them right now because I guess I got a court order. I'm not allowed to do it. So I had to agree to it. So, but if you can get away with it in your town, it is phenomenal. The biggest problem with bandit signs is, guys, if you get them printed from a company, and by the way, I used to own a sign company because I did so many, the shipping will kill you. So try to find a local vendor so you don't go broke on shipping. What's up, Bernard? We actually did an entire show on this, on how to find the best cash buyers. So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis on it, but go back and look at the video from yesterday, which was 12/9. And by the way, guys, it's 12/10. It's 5:59, and this thing is live. So we don't give you recorded videos because if you guys are going to give me your time, I'm going to give it back to you. So the best way is the Facebook Marketplace is a great place. Go to cash buying groups on Facebook, find groups there, scrape email addresses, and get them out. The best type of buyers are the ones that buy less than 3 to 4 houses a year. You know why? Because they pay the most. I like hedge funds, but you're going to take a little bit of a discount. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass dealing with them. So let's see. Taylor says, I get the dad. So it's really cool the way me and Zach work. So you kind of get the old man approach like your dad. So I'm just here to give you like 19 years experience. So if you can take 19 years and shave that learning curve off for you, like, do it. And here's the really cool part, Tila. I'm not in your back pocket. So I'm like the dad's going to always give you truth. So if you guys have a dad, and props out to the dads, is your job to your kids is always to tell them the truth. You cannot shield the truth. You can protect them, but your job as a parent is to prepare them for life and understand the realities of the world and make them the best person they are, make them the most productive and the happiest. And that's our job as parents. So that's what I do with that. So, and Zach brings a positive spin to it. He's much better at technologies and stuff. And you guys love the stuff out of him. And this idea came up. I'm like, man, if I teach a 17-year-old how to make 100 grand, why can't we teach the entire world how to do this? So that's how we came up with this, and we decided not to charge a dime for this. And I love it because every guru group and stuff like that, I'm not allowed in because I all tell them, why don't you just do this for free? Because if you teach enough people how to do something and you teach it well, the following will come, and then we build like the biggest, baddest community known to mankind. So we are in the speed round. I'm going to blow through. I'm going to try to avoid duplicate questions here. Let's see. We did that one. There's a long one, but it's an easy one to answer. Holding property. Do you have rentals? Yes. Do you keep track of all your rentals? Yes. I have a property management company that does all that for me. How do you keep track of all the rents coming in? That's easy. It's automated. It's on spreadsheets, and I work with accountants. Do you use software? Yes. We just use QuickBooks Online. So hopefully that helps you out. North Carolina, Charlotte, dude, wonderful market. Oh my God. Like I know a lot of people who work in that market. You need to jump on it because it's nothing like Florida. Like there's still a lot of opportunity in there. And let's face it, North Carolina is like, it's like the Switzerland of the United States. It's just a good enough temperature. You still get mountains. You get a little bit of snow. I don't know if that's true or not. But you don't get like the blustering, like South heat from Atlanta down south. So people love it. And it's central. Like you can go anywhere in the East Coast from North Carolina. If you've ever driven through like Florida and like Georgia, it is a long, long ride. So 47 in Maryland, we're warming up a little bit. Let me tell you. And Tila, let me know, is that like warm there? I have no idea. So I need to get out more. Oh my God, do I? So Barbara says it's 43 and rainy in Seattle. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Okay, Smokey's got an interesting question. I appreciate you posting it. What if all my leads are not working? How can I find the most recent leads? So hopefully you're working with a CRM. We use Podio. It's like really simple. What if all my leads are not working? I don't quite understand that. You have to work your leads. So if you're not getting the right leads and you're getting nothing out of it, you need to relook at the lists you're doing. If you guys need help with lists, as I said, go to listrei.com. You can work 10,000 leads per month from there, and you get a 7-day free trial period when you do that. So hopefully that helps with that. And let's see here. Barbara says voicemail's full all the time. Guys, when you hear full voicemail, get super excited. It's so much fun when the voicemail's full. I tell you, some of my best deals come from full voicemails. And when one of my salespeople come to me and go, man, Mr. Rick, I've tried everything. Like his voicemail's full. I'm like, I get so excited. I go, man, you just struck gold. There is a correlation with full voicemails and great deals through wholesaling and motivated tellers. So guys, in 19 years, it's the one thing I've learned. When you hear full voicemail, get excited because it really, really works. So awesome. Tila says they do it to hide. I agree. So here's a good question asking us, how do you control sellers who overprice their homes or underestimate repair costs? Number one, you don't control them. Like you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. This is the same analogy. So what you have to do is you have to walk them down a funnel, and your funnel might take some time. So Mr. Seller, so here's a simple thing here's a great question. A good friend of mine taught me this, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But when you have someone that completely is in left field on price, like say you offer them 150 and they need 300, like you're so far apart. So if you guys ever watch like Pawn Stars, they're like, dude, we're so far apart, I don't think we're going to get a deal. You got to find a question that shocks them. So here's a great question. You ready for this? A lot of times sellers go, well, Mr. Rick, I need to sell because I need $100,000 so I can retire, so I can buy another house. And then I need this, I need that. And if I don't get that $100,000 plus all those other things, I can't sell you the house. Oh, Mr. Seller, I tell you what, let's do this. Let's take a look and see what the house can afford. And then we'll see what we can do for you. Does that sound fair? What you're trying to do is like, let me see what the house is worth. I get it. You got a wish list, but they are not correlated. Like you cannot control sellers. And honestly, there's some sellers you just got to walk away from. Now, if the house is like run down, it's got issues, I always put them in the follow-up. So by the way, I've waited as long as 4 years to get a deal. I made $110,000 on a deal, waiting 4 years. I just waited, called them every 3 months. Here we go. Here we go. And then one day they just all came in an agreement and they sold the house. When people sell their house, understand it's time and circumstances. And when they align perfectly and the right buyers in front of their face, magic happens. So, really good question. You don't control sellers, guys. You'll never win it. You won't be able to. Jerry says you guys doing deals in Hawaii. Listen, if you guys, if you have a really good deal, reach out to us. Get on the masterminds we do. We do them on Thursdays where you guys come on and we try to walk you guys and work you through deals. But yes, we do wholesale. We do JV with others, but they got to be like deals that make sense. I don't want to waste people's time, and I'm always going to tell you the truth because I don't get paid unless the deal closes, and I don't want you to spend time with someone that's got a completely overpriced house. So, okay, let's go here. Marty says, Rick, I have a property under contract thanks to you guys. My question for you is the closing process in New York takes a little while. And now the seller's tired, landlord wants to back out of the deal. So I believe you have to use an attorney in New York. I'm not completely familiar with your closing process, how long it takes. If there's anybody on this feed that can help them out. But I would question, what is the typical closing process in New York? And if you have a cash deal should always close maximum 30 days, unless you have major title issues. Hey, listen, I get it. He wants to back out of the deal, but you have a contract. And in good faith, you've got it all put together. You need to keep the deal together. So involve the title company and the landlord, not the landlord, the title company and the attorney, and understanding, say, hey, Marty, it's not me, it's this, but you're going to have to point it out to them. So get involved as soon as you can. By the way, it's not uncommon for people in the back out. They get scared, they get freaked out, but you need to, I don't know how long the New York process is. So guys, I appreciate you being on. I can do questions all day long. If you guys have, this video is live. So if you're coming at the tail end, go to freewholesaling.com to learn how to wholesale for absolutely free. Actually, me and Zach are the only, let's see here. We're the only people teaching this stuff for free. And it's 24 years experience between me and Zach, actually 25. And we teach you everything head to toe. If you guys are considering buying a course, here's what I want you to do. Go to freewholesaling.com, register there. I'm not going to sell you. I want you to connect. And then if you really like what you see, which rarely have anyone who doesn't like it, it's a very detailed course to teach you how to wholesaling. The idea is to get you up and running, get to your first 6 figures, $100,000. And then I want to build the biggest, baddest community. And how do I do that? I just want to give it back, man. We need to change this industry. I need you guys. So do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. You share this feed. You subscribe. We go live. We do 2 videos a day. And nobody can keep up with the energy level, the enthusiasm we have. I absolutely love wholesaling. I've been doing 19 years. And I'm here to tell you, if I can do this 19 years, you're just getting started. I taught my 17-year-old son how to make 100 grand in high school. What's your excuse? I didn't start till I was 33. It's up to you to take charge of your financial future, take care of your family, and most important, utilize your time on this earth to make things better. Guys, I love you very much, and I will see you in the next video. You guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.